Is there a chance you're just lazy? Well, sure, there's a chance for everything. But if you're not apathetic about your goals, if you're painfully aware of how you're falling short of your own standards, then laziness probably isn't the issue. It's not that you don't care, it's that you're stuck. If you've been struggling with motivation, consistency, or follow through, then the chances are that you were never actually taught a sustainable model for discipline. You weren't lazy, you were just misdiagnosed. Hi, I'm Anna, founder of the Intrinsic North Star, where I help other ambitious individuals break free from the patterns of self-sabotaging behaviors that stem from executive dysfunction. If you're ready to stop fighting yourself and build true, sustainable success, then I'm here to help you along the way. Subscribe for more insights on navigating these challenges and a helping hand to be there when no one else understands. You're not weak, you might just be state-oriented. Psychologist Julius Kuhl introduced this concept where some people are state-oriented and some are action-oriented. The distinction between the two is the ability to self-regulate your emotions and still pursue action despite your emotions. So action-oriented people can feel all those emotions of fear, discomfort, uncertainty, and still learn to put it aside and regulate so that they can move forward and act in spite of those things. State-oriented people get stuck. They plan, they intend to act, they have all the ideas about what they want to do, but when those feelings come up of fear of failure and perfectionism and discomfort, you start spiraling instead. This is the problem. Most traditional discipline advice is going off the assumption that you are action-oriented and there's something else keeping you from doing the thing. That under the right circumstances, you can just do it and trick yourself into action. But if your brain gets hijacked by emotion, if you don't know how to regulate yourself, if you don't know what's actually going on, that advice is never actually going to help you. And if it does, it's only going to be for a short time. Instead, try regulating before initiating. Take 30 seconds to breathe deeply. Name your emotions. Start talking to yourself like you're someone you really care about, not someone that you're judging. Say, this is hard, but I'm safe. These little micro acts of regulation can help bring you back online. And I also want you to know that it's not your fault. It's your responsibility to take action moving forward and to try to heal yourself when you become aware of it. But the reasons we're like this are usually a lot deeper. State-oriented people are very limbic system driven. The limbic system is the part of our brain that handles emotional and social processing. It stores emotional memories, detects threats and risks, and it triggers survival responses. The prefrontal cortex is the opposing piece that prioritizes logic and reasoning. But if there was some kind of disconnect that happens due to neurodivergence or trauma or abuse, then that's going to trigger those fight or flight responses, and you're not going to feel safe enough to act. And one of those trauma responses is self-criticism. Many of us grew up with discipline framed as control, not a skill to be built, not as support. Just consequences and a sense of constantly letting others down. If you don't do this, then you're not going to get this. If you don't meet these expectations, then you failed, or you don't get this reward. If you mess up, then you're in trouble. So you've internalized this model. When you struggle to follow through, you try to whip yourself into shape with shame. But the truth is, you're trying to parent yourself with a model that's always failed you. It's just what you know, and it's what's comfortable. So that's why I say that you need to talk to yourself like you actually care and that you believe in your ability to get things done. A few switches that I've tried that have really helped is to talk to yourself like you're talking to a best friend. But if that's too much, if you can tell that you're faking it, then look at yourself with neutrality. Pull that logic back into the picture. Take the emotion out of it as best you can. This is a person. I have feelings. I have actions. There's logic going on here. I am not dictated by any of those things. I can look at this situation objectively and see where I want to go from here. Neutral. Another piece is that when this disconnect is there, you actually don't realize how much goes into executing something you want to do. If you want to write every day for 30 minutes, it is not just about sitting down, carving out those 30 minutes of your day and writing. It's not a time management issue. You need to tolerate the discomfort of not doing it perfectly, the fear of not being good enough, the frustration of slow progress, and the boredom that creeps in on low energy days. Traditional advice is going to tell you to just build habits, that they're hard at first, but they get easier. And that's true in some situations. But for state-oriented people, the real discipline is being able to feel all of those emotions and have the self-awareness to learn how to move forward anyway. So welcome the reason, actually dissect it. Don't just gloss over it and stew in the discomfort. Put words to it, understand it, and acknowledge it. Then reconnect to your reason, reconnect to why you're in the situation in the first place. Ground yourself in what you know to be true. Ground yourself in the logic. And a big part of this journey that I teach my students is actually understanding your capacity, even if you're just starting out. Again, it's not about time management. You may have all the time in the day. It could be your off day. But if you had a really hard weekend or you didn't sleep well last night, you're not in tip-top shape. So true emotional regulation, true self-development is being able to take all of these factors into account, knowing how you want to show up to the world, but knowing that you're not 100% of yourself and you're not 100% able to do that on any given day. The old you would have taken that information and spiraled because I'm a failure. I can't do things exactly the way I want to do. But after making these switches, even in teeny tiny increments, you still move forward. And that's a bigger win than sitting down once a month and knocking out a whole lot of work or a whole lot of writing. Being able to move forward in the itty bitty moments during the day because you took the time to understand what's going on inside of you, that's a win. Another thing is that traditional discipline actually fuels all or nothing thinking. It fuels extremes and black and white. If I can't do it right, I won't do it at all. It fuels the midnight motivation to clean the entire house, but when the day rolls around, you can't get out of bed. That if I can't do this exactly the way I want to and exactly the way I envision it, even if I have the motivation, then I'm not disciplined enough or I'm not capable of being disciplined. This is teaching you to equate success with perfection. And anything less than that becomes a source of shame. That's why being neutral in these situations is your biggest superpower. Because if you plan to do 30 minutes of something on a given day, and then you show up, but you don't have the energy, you don't feel well, you're under a lot of stress, and you know that what you actually need is to take a breather. All or nothing thinking is gonna completely give up, not try at all, and you're gonna beat yourself up the entire time, so you're not even actually resting. So take stock of your situation, say, okay, I can manage 5 minutes. Be neutral about it, and then do the 5. Because the goal there is not, well, I succeeded if I did all 30 minutes. No, the goal is I did what I said I was gonna do. I got myself into action even though I wasn't feeling it, and that's a win. If you missed a week, don't start over. Just continue where you left off. A great example of this is myself, actually, because I've been doing a motivational reading every single morning. And it's organized into days of the week. And I've been really struggling lately. And I've missed a couple weeks. And the middle of the week rolls around and I feel like I have the will and the motivation and the desire to put in some effort. Now, the old me would have said, well, I need to wait until Monday so that I can start at a fresh new week. But I said, to hell with that, because yeah, I ended last time on a Friday. I'm gonna pick up on a Monday, even though it's Wednesday, because who cares? It's for me, it's not for anybody else. The most important thing is that I'm actually making movement forward and proving to myself that even if it gets hard, I can trust myself to pick back up when I'm ready. What people get wrong about motivation is it's not about pushing harder. Usually they're gonna say that motivation is the antithesis to discipline, but I don't think that's true either. You are not a robot. You are not a machine. You can't will yourself into action, not if you struggle with these things. And you need to stop expecting that of yourself. You need to stop letting people on the internet bully you for something that you can't control. That doesn't take away the accountability. And I'm always gonna say that. Once you have the information, you have to do something with it. But it's not your fault that you're in this situation to begin with. And it's deeper than that. You're building a foundation that's steeped in who you want to be as a person, not what society and the internet and social media is determining as disciplined and productive and how you should be showing up to the world. I'm hoping that through my content and through what I'm teaching, it's not just, okay, how can I be more productive? It's how can I build my routines and commitments in the way I live my life to reflect who I truly am. And yeah, it's gonna take a little work. And yeah, it's gonna take unearthing all of these things that make me struggle with getting up in the morning. All these things that make me struggle with cleaning my home and doing work on a routinely basis. I still have to do the work, but the end result ends up being the absolute opposite of what I thought I was expecting and what I thought I wanted when I entered my self-improvement journey. If you're building from a foundation of self-punishment and external expectations, then you're gonna burn out. Even if it's not now, it will happen. But when discipline is rooted in your values, it starts feeling like home. It starts feeling like something that you want to fight for. So something that you can try is creating a weekly ritual to check in with why. What do my actions say about what matters to me right now? I'll give myself like a perfect example. I haven't been showing up to work that great lately, but I also know that it's because I'm under an insane amount of stress. I went through an insane move with some insanely dramatic people. I moved back from where I had gotten my freedom to my hometown. Like, that was a big emotional transition. I know that I'm going through a lot. It's a season of change. So even though I'm not showing up to work the way I want to, I can take stock of my situation and say, okay, but I'm still showing up in a way that's authentic to myself. The real world expectations aren't gonna go away. That's why I have standards. I have bare minimum standards. But right now is not 100% season for me, and that's okay. Because I'm fulfilling my values of viewing myself as an omniscient experience versus I'm only succeeding if I'm putting 110% into work, no matter how I feel. That's what traditional discipline advice tells you, and that's not what I believe in. If you do, then great, but then this probably isn't for you. Ask yourself if you're building from fear, from trying to please other people, or from alignment. The goal isn't to force yourself, it's to come home to yourself over and over again. And if you're like me, you probably don't even know what that home feels like. But that's part of the beauty of this experience. You are getting to build your own home, even if you never had one before. You're not broken. You're just ready for a better system. Traditional discipline advice fails not because you're unmotivated or lazy. It fails because there's nuances there that aren't being accounted for. It doesn't account for emotion. It doesn't account for the root causes that are causing this behavior. It's acting like you're choosing to be this way, and if you've watched this far, then I know you're not. It treats resistance like a flaw instead of a signal from hurt pieces of yourself. The key isn't to push harder. It's to look inward and understand what gears are churning and why, and to rebuild from the inside out. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this is probably one of the first times that someone's put into words what you're going through. That's why I do what I do. Because when I was at my rock bottom, no one was explaining what I'm explaining to you now. And if I had heard this, then maybe I wouldn't have gone through so much pain. But if I hadn't, then I wouldn't be here doing the same for you. And that brings me to explain the Intrinsic North Star, which is a love letter to every forgotten and hated version of my past self, and every forgotten and hated past version of you that you've tucked away into your corner hoping no one's gonna go looking for. You can rebuild yourself from a place of clarity and fulfillment and happiness. It's okay to be done playing by rules that were never built for you. Book a call with me below, and I'll show you exactly how I'm in your corner and how I can bring you into mine.